views and opinions expressed on Geeks Under the Influence are that of the panelists and not of our sponsors, Amazon.com and TeePublic. Parental discretion is advised.
Peacemaker is dark as fuck, but it's also very funny. And the new Batman is dark as fuck, but it's also like almost artistically dark as fuck.
Yeah. I had to be here to watch you all suck the dick of this movie.
All right.
Hold on.
Calm down.
Okay.
What?
Mind you, we're fucking talking about Batman. Okay, it's fucking Batman.
That's fine. It's a DC property. It doesn't have to be Superman.
But
Kyle, motherfucker, how many times have we bitched about Batman? Never.
Exactly.
We've never bitched about Batman.
Shut
Even
the fuck
Batman
up.
v Superman, we were not bitching about Batman. We were like, actually, Ben Affleck wasn't bad, and the suit looked cool.
That's fair,
His voice modulation
but-
was decent.
We've
but
never bitched
Martha
about
was
Batman.
dumb.
We've
we don't
never bitched
bitch
about Batman. So stop.
Yeah.
All right.
Take it back in.
All right.
Just
All right.
stop.
Everybody just needs to calm down.
Look,
okay?
DC,
Let's get
DC
into our
boys a
feels
little.
here.
DC boys a little excited, so
I am
let's
very
a little
excited.
bit.
Which Batman movie was like the Superman Returns of Batman movies? Oh wait, there wasn't one because it's fucking Batman.
Dark Knight Rises.
No. Way better movie than Superman Returns.
Well, I mean,
way
if
better
you want to
movie.
go that route about shitty Batman movies, I mean, there's a few that we can.
Oh, they're the
Sure,
Schumacher
yeah,
ones. We
yeah,
all
yeah,
agree the
yeah, yeah.
the
Just
two
got awful.
Schumacher
Look, the
ones.
90s were not kind to anybody, all right?
The sins of the father.
But I still
George Clooney
there
and
were
Val
more
Kilmer.
there were more bad Superman movies than there were 2 bad Batman movies, Schumacher movies. There was Superman 3, 4, Superman Returns, and some argue, I'm not one of them, but some do argue Man of Steel was not a good movie.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's decent.
I don't. Yeah. Especially over time, I've learned to
I
enjoy
appreciate
it more.
the movie.
There will
I do.
always be one main aspect of that, and this is the death of Jonathan.
Now, there
You
was
know,
a
the
time
death
period.
of the father, how they did that sort of thing.
There was
Really
a time
bothers me.
period
Yeah, it wasn't
where
done
Smash
appropriately.
here was pro Superman Returns. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking forget
Oh
this
yeah.
motherfucker.
For one day.
Him and his brother defending the shit out of it.
He does have the action figure. I know that
Yeah,
for a fact.
I do.
Yeah.
It's hanging.
The fact you still have it.
It's in my room.
It's next to his pillow. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Good night.
doggy loves
I
it.
expected to show up one day at one of the cons where it was at one of the giveaway presents. It's like, oh, Superman Returns, cool. Oh,
I tried to. Someone sent it back to me. I don't even know how they got my address.
He kisses it goodnight before he goes to bed.
They just sent it right back to me in the mail.
See, now the fact that Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor, you can use that as a reason to say fuck that movie besides all the other reasons of saying fuck that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
The little lever on the back of the Superman Returns figure just makes him shrug, and it's actually the director's voice being like, I wanted to do a drama, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't allow comic books on my set, you disgraced son of a bitch.
Wow.
This right here, what we're going to be talking about, hands down,
Oh my
definitely
God.
one of the best.
One of the best, absolutely. And it's honestly really hard to compare it to any other Batman
it's not.
movie.
It's not like any other.
It's not
Batman
like any
movies.
other one. And that's the interesting thing about this character with Batman is that it's been around since the 40s, and the constant reinvention of this character, where it still feels like the character, but there's like a new take on it. Even during the worst parts of comic book history, the 50s and 60s, where it got like neutered, there was still a very valuable Batman. I'm never going to shit on 60s
Yeah.
Batman.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's so fun and dumb.
You
Because
kind of
yet-
forget he's like, avenging his parents' murders on that show. Like,
He's-
Didn't really cover that in the Adam West
yeah, I
version.
don't remember
No,
that. Like,
yeah.
well, good buddy, my parents were murdered, and like, you don't ever hear him talk about that.
That was like, I just graduated from Harvard, and I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm rich.
First off, spoilers for The Batman.
Yes.
Holy fuck. We have a lot to cover on this episode because this movie, holy shit, did it surpass expectations. I love the director. I had a lot of faith in the director. As time went on, I had a little more faith in Robert Pattinson doing the role as Batman. I wasn't initially that enthused about it. But
People weren't about Affleck either.
yeah, true. And that's one of the things. And also Heath Ledger as Joker. Like there is a history in the Batman universe of actors being chosen that people are bitching about. Even
it starts at the beginning with Keaton.
Keaton.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Mom. People were like, Mr. Mom's gonna be Batman, and then he did like him versus Nicholson, where Keaton does like a Kmart version of Nicholson.
Yeah.
Where he's like the funnier evil guy version.
He has one Keaton moment in there when he's like, "Let's get crazy."
Let's get crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he's like, back to Bruce Wayne.
He like smashes
slow
the
it down.
plate.
It's like someone shot him with a trailer dart to remind him, you're not
It's a great
Beetlejuice.
scene. He's like, "You want to get nuts?
Yeah.
Let's get nuts."
And you know that there was a moment where Nicholson's like, he's stepping on my thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't you gotta
That's
do
why he
something.
shot him.
Yeah, that's why he shot
That
him.
was improvised. That was improvised.
It was improvised. He actually was
That's
shot.
right. That's right.
But yeah, we were talking about the Batman on this episode of Geeks Under the Influence. We're going to be getting into the nitty gritty of a 3-hour thriller noir Batman movie.
It noired me so good.
It noired me really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too hard.
All right, this is starting out great.
Oh man, I love it.
So thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Welcome.
Nothing's at work and shall be again. A changing of the guards, the tides marching in. You think you can hold out, but you know you're wrong. So you better join us now. You better do it fast, or you will be dead. Lie down, no the gun, cause it's compromise the dead. You play it safe.
Yes.
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
He actually didn't do the Bale voice.
No. He
I
just
He
talked
did like a
real
slight
monotone.
version of the Bale voice from Begins, but
where
like,
it was
it was like understandable.
was great.
It was
no.
great. Yeah.
I kind of realized what he was doing the second time I watched it. His voice, it's who plays Commissioner or sorry, Gordon.
Oh, jeez. I always forget his name.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. Yeah.
Jeffrey
He's
Wright.
doing Jeffrey Wright because
He
there
is?
is a scene where they're both talking to Penguin, and I hear, "You're gonna tell us what's going on. You're gonna also tell us this." I was like, "Wait, that's a different person, but not a different person." It's almost like Bruce Wayne met Gordon and went, "That's a good voice."
That was probably in the script read where Jeffrey Wright was just doing Jeffrey Wright. And he's like, Batman, there's trouble with the Riddler. And he was like, Batman, there's trouble with the Riddler.
Wait,
fuck,
wait a
that
second,
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
But seriously, if
We
you
can do
close
each
your
other's-
eyes and there's scenes with them talking to each other, you don't know who's talking. I swear to God. And he got to give props for that because he didn't go, "Tell me what's going on."
But it's dark a lot too. So I bet you those voiceovers were really easy to do.
Well,
Like the ADR was just like, "Hey, can you fill in?"
We talked a little bit about Batman on the last Deeply Upsetting, and like we have determined that like the Crow and the Batman live in the same city because it rains constantly.
Yeah.
Well, the Crow is Detroit. Technically, they say Gotham's New York, but I think Gotham's more dirty and gross.
No,
than Detroit.
Gotham's definitely not.
Is this
That's
set
got to
in,
be
in, like
that's got to be
yeah,
five
Detroit.
years in the future when the ice caps fully melt and it just rains
It's just
everywhere
raining
all the time?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to lead into. This I walked out of the theater thinking that I've gotten. I'm going to say it's not perfect. It's not finite, but this is the closest adaptation we've gotten of comic Batman, where he is a true detective.
The detective
entire
part
time.
for sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and if you look at it, so the big aspect of this film, and it goes back to what you were saying about all the reiterations and reimaginings of Batman, not in film but also in comics, is like this is year 2. So for everyone that loves Frank Miller's year 1, you're seeing a more established Batman in year 2. So he kind of he knows what he's doing to beat some people's asses and get where he needs to get, but he's still figuring it out. We're getting very young, very angry. Like every hit comes with a scream. Like he's got so much rage in this movie.
and he's not yet the world's greatest detective. Like he's
Yeah.
solid. Like
Yeah.
he's doing a good job, but he's still not the greatest detective.
Exactly.
Well, and and I know from the noir aspect, or it's like neo noir technically, I
Sure.
think is the term for it. But it took an element from the original, even 40s and 50s serials that no other movie has, which is the noir aspect, which is the detective aspect. It is the femme fatale. It's like, the Catwoman femme fatale. They've played with that in some aspect, but they've never really, this movie was just like, it was all about that.
Which, taking that instead of the floppy ears on the 40s Batman, a better choice.
Sure,
It's a better
yes.
choice to like not have the
I just want to say, I am so glad Peter Sarsgaard went the role of Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan and was in a shitty DC movie and got his now.
Retribution,
Yeah, because I don't know if everybody
Redemption.
remembers, he was the bad guy in fucking Green Lantern.
That's right.
So when I saw him in this, I went, "Good job, man! You
Yep.
did it. You got in a
Yep.
good. You got a good DC movie. Congratulations."
Which we got to very quickly hit on the rogues gallery that are here to talk about Batman real quick before we
Yeah,
move
see what
forward.
you did there.
Yeah, see what I did.
Ah.
See
Yeah.
what you did there.
Thanks for ruining my segue.
You're welcome. I do what I do.
My left, one of the Geekfathers
Yes,
is here.
plural.
Kyle Smash is here.
What's up?
What's up, bud?
Hey, I'm here to talk about Batman. Where are the drugs going?
You knew that's gonna happen this episode. It's just too. It's just low hanging fruit.
It's
And I'm not even I'm not even drinking. I was like, I need to be at my best.
I'm not even drinking.
Yeah. I don't drink. I vitamins and shit.
I am vengeance. Oh fuck, I'm wasted.
I eat a lot of fish.
Where's your closest Starbucks? Where's the whiskey? Where's the whiskey? Next up, Fuck You Hunter from Beautiful Disasters and from the Mouths of Madness is here to join us on this cavalcade of dark detective work.
What's up, bitches?
What's it?
We're going to figure out what the fuck we're talking about. That's right.
It does pay me
By
to
the
be
end of the
talking so much
episode.
positivity about a DC movie, and I'm sitting right next to Smash.
Well, it's technically DC, but it is the one DC character that all the Marvel people are like, oh, but Batman's fine. Batman,
Seriously, like this doesn't.
Batman's totally okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't count.
It's justified.
There is that curiosity because, I mean, this project was initially like, it was supposed to be Affleck, it was supposed to be an older Batman, and they moved in a different direction. And so there's still that taunting that I wanted to see that type of movie, but it's good if they're going to go the direction they went to the early years of Batman. So I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, as always, next to me, my partner in crime here on the GUI network and on Geeks Under the Influence, we've got Lowdown Brian MacGyver.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
That if you were like a Rogues Gallery, I'd say like Killer Croc, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I am happy they went with. And then when I heard they cast Pattinson, I was like, oh, they're doing young Batman. I thought they were going to do year one, but I'm glad they went in year two because now he's established. Like year one would have been just more of a rehash of like him figuring it out, him getting everything set up with the suit and all. We've already seen all that.
Yep.
So it was very, very smart to go where he's new, but he's not brand new.
Right.
Well, speaking of brand new,
Not the band. I know you like them, but
the emo nature of this Batman could have been done so poorly. It was the
God.
wire walk, especially because he had just like the actual makeup around his eyes when he wasn't wearing the mask. And you're like, okay, he's got strewn across hair and eye makeup. He might as well be like the bassist of My Chemical Romance in this. And
Or the lead singer.
somehow, with all of that going for Robert Pattinson's Batman, it didn't come off as cheesy,
no.
which is weird.
Were you kind of waiting for him to take the armor off? And there's like pantyhose on his arms, like the
I was waiting
full
for him
emo.
to like have a conversation with Alfred where he's like, my dad. Just, like,
someone already
fucking
made a
sad.
Batman playlist, which is Batman as the marching thing from Black
my
Black
God.
Parade,
Oh, no.
and it literally has this whole set list of emo bands.
When I was a young Bruce.
yeah,
You know, if Killer Croc had an Alfred, then you'd be that.
That,
What?
I don't even know how to take that.
What does
Well,
that even mean?
Because you're Killer Croc, and he's your partner.
he's
in
your
crime.
sewer butler.
He
No,
would be
but
your
Yeah.
Alfred.
Alfred.
I'm the sewer butler.
Actually, yes,
Yeah.
yes, Smash. I would agree
Alfred-
that he is the sewer butler.
Alfred
Just in
was,
comparison.
Alfred was a substitute daddy. He's not my substitute daddy.
Well,
But he is your sewer
calm
butler.
down now. Yeah.
I like all the conversation about kids not being like punished like they used to back in the day. And then you have billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne as a child whose like caretaker is his butler. The amount of shit that he could get away with where the butler is like, go to your room. You go to the kitchen and make me a fucking sandwich, butler.
Yeah.
I mean,
The court systems
I
were a
feel
little
like-
lenient on
No,
who
I-
got custody.
I feel like that wouldn't work because one thing they say in this movie is like, I could train you how to fight. Like Alfred would have punched him in the fucking face.
that's true.
Well, they made
Would've
Alfred
punched
like
him.
he was ex-military.
They carried that.
Essentially,
I
mercenary.
want to get into that, but first we got to introduce the last person, the man who is
Yeah, you're Alfred.
full of Jesus.
the
Your
Why
dad-
not
the
Alfred?
sewer butler.
Yeah,
A sewer butler.
Sewer butler.
You're
Yeah.
butler.
Great.
You're
Great.
your surrogate daddy.
No, I like sewer butler. My sewer butler. Yeah, Mike Bickett.
That's great. Real stoked for that one.
You need more like
It sounds like a creepy sexual term, like "give me a sewer butler."
So that's like, man, she's freaky. She asked me to give her the sewer butler.
would a penguin work better in that situation?
Oh, no.
I mean, but I was the penguin, so it worked out
That's
pretty
fine.
well.
Yeah. So I do want to bring in, I felt like this movie, especially with the tone they gave Gotham, did with a budget and with everything that comes with the cinematic side of it, proper justice to, I think, what Gotham was trying to do, the TV series.
Sure.
Like if you look at Falcone's like office club area, the windows, it was just the way all the architecture was done. It was definitely reminiscent of that, and I really felt that when they carried over this style of Alfred, where it wasn't the League of Shadows.
No.
Alfred trained him,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a lot of that in Gotham. So that was cool that they kind of branched and used that instead of what
Sure. Yeah.
Well, and you have to talk about where it starts with Matt Reeves. And as a director, his ability to take a property and elevate it like he did with Planet of the Apes.
Oh my God.
Oh,
And
so
listen,
good.
I love the originals for what they are, but if I have a choice between watching any of the originals
you can't
and
compare
watching,
the two.
Yeah.
I'm not
No.
comparing them in terms of, but if I have a choice to watch one or the other, I'm probably going to go to the new trilogy. It's so beautifully made.
Sure.
Obviously, Andy Serkis being a huge part of that, which he would be in that world, and then his ability to take that vision and sort of like calming sort of color tablet that he uses within his movies, like within the new Batman, there's a lot of reds, like the lighter reds, but
Mhm.
and then darker tones, just like it keeps you in that calm but suspenseful feeling, is something that I think only he does right now and does it well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be honest here. The template of this movie is fucking 7 all the way through.
Well,
I mean,
no,
It was even mentioned by the director that the raining all the time is because he wanted to have that same like impending, like crushing feeling that Fincher was trying to do with raining all the time in 7.
I mean, you can go even further as, Batman and Gordon are like the, two detectives,
Mhm.
a la Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so many. And when you get to the end where when we get to the Riddler's apartment, I mean, God damn, that is almost seems like shot for shot
Sure.
John Doe's
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
7.
well, that's probably any psychopath, really. Any
Yeah,
psychopath
but
who done a
like
movie
the
has that
journals,
killer room.
The
that-
journals and all of the build up for each attack.
Yeah.
But every single. Did any of you at any point in time when a riddle came up and a box had to be open in your mind?
Yes.
How many
Yep,
times did you hear "What's in the box"?
What's in the
Every single time, I was just like, "What's in the box?" And I'm like, I shouldn't be laughing right now. This is some serious shit.
It's pretty clear one thing that they used as a major inspiration for the Riddler character in this movie was the Zodiac Killer. I mean, they even had like almost a carbon copy of the
His symbol.
symbols. Like
Some people have issued with that. I have read that there has been issue, like the Riddler's not the Zodiac killer.
but no, I mean the thing is, if you're trying to put it in a grittier, more realistic
We're
version
trying
of
to
these
ground
characters,
it. You're trying to ground it.
the closest thing that you have in any kind of realistic sense to the Riddler is the Zodiac Killer. He was giving people clues and
The
getting
ciphers, yeah.
for people
Yeah.
to like figure out. I mean, it's so common sense that I'm mad that nobody's thought to do it before, because it's like so clear. There's such a clear line between the two
They
characters.
grounded it and took the playfulness out of it.
Yeah.
Of the Riddler and made him
Yeah.
an actual disturbed human being.
Well, right, and from the from serial killers in the past, let's say that most of them want to be caught at some point. Like they want, and this was just he was like, listen, at some point, I know I'm going to be caught. I know I'm going to be like behind bars or in Arkham Asylum. But that's the fun of it. Like that's the game. Is that can you figure it out? I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Zodiac. It was definitely the Zodiac killer, but it could have been any serial killer. But it was the Paul Dano's performance
Oh man,
that made it different, because you could have gotten anyone to play that part
that
and just
weird
play a
looking
crazy
fucking
person.
dude. Like no,
Hey, he doesn't fucking game. You know he's almost 40?
Wow.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, he's 20, 22,
No,
23.
no, he's almost fucking 40.
No, he was probably that in The Girl Next Door, but
Yeah,
when he was in that movie.
he doesn't age. Yeah, he was born in 84. He is my age, 37.
the
Damn.
choice
Like-
of glasses for him, that really made him the serial killer. Like the glasses
Yeah.
when he was Sans mask, he looked like
Oh.
every serial killer in the 1970s.
What I was gonna finish with that was that, yeah, he was probably the most uncomfortable thing in that movie. I mean, and good for him. And it wasn't uncomfortable in the sense where I felt like he was trying to do Joker, because I was worried about that at first.
Yeah,
But I did not get Joker vibes. I literally just got broken. Like when he loses it in the. Did we say spoilers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
we
I
said
don't
spoilers.
remember if we said spoilers. When they have when they're in the interview room at well, not the interview, but he goes to see him at Arkham, and when it doesn't go the way he wants to, he just like screams like
oh my
for
god,
no
Right.
fucking reason. Really, it's just like he's just trying to say words, but he can't form them, so he's just like making animalistic noises. I'm like,
so jarring.
dude.
I'll be honest, I was pretty confident when I heard his casting, because he made an impression after I saw There Will Be Blood.
Dude.
He was so good. Like, I'll be honest, I was waiting for Batman to have a scene where he's like, I abandoned my butler, like some kind of hardcore, because he was so kind of twisted.
I went in, I beat it up.
But he was so twisted in There Will Be Blood, and it was so not like stepping on everybody's toes. Like, look at me. It was so kind of subtle, and this is the kind of same role where like it's subtle, build up till you get to when he gets caught.
Until
that
full,
yeah,
batshit crazy.
I saw it not long before I saw the Batman, the Beach Boys, like, you know,
that's what got him the role.
Yes, and
Was it Love and Mercy?
Yeah, I think that's the name, but he's playing Brian Wilson, and the way that that was the only way I was like watching that movie is like I happened to catch it while I was working, and it was in the background, like, you know, I could hear it, and I was like, that sounds like Paul Dano. I was like, the hell is he doing? And then I go and I watch it, and I'm stuck on it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Well, I have to record it now, and that's what really I was like excited for him to do this role. That's what got it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a great casting.
Yes,
It's such a good
I
casting.
mean, you know, so the first thing I actually remember seeing him in was Little Miss Sunshine, and I thought he killed it in that role.
Yeah.
But then, like, he was in 12 Years a Slave. Like, he
Yeah.
is good as
Looper.
a villain in Looper. He was
Yeah.
great
He was
in
great in
Looper.
Looper, yeah.
And he was in what was that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman, where Hugh Jackman's daughter goes missing?
Prisoners.
Prisoners. That
Yeah.
dude.
That's hard-
That's hard to watch.
That
dude.
movie's a hard
That's
watch.
a hard watch, dude.
We also, we need to talk about how unbelievably unrecognizable
Colin Farrell is, dude.
Yes.
I was
as the
trying.
Penguin.
Where was he?
I was
Yeah, right?
trying.
He was in the movie.
I'm watching every scene.
I'm
and
watching
I
every
don't
scene,
see Colin Farrell.
knowing 100% it's Colin Farrell.
He
in
tested
the
that
eyes.
shit.
There's only a little bit you can see in the eyes that it's Colin Farrell. Everything else,
He
fuck.
tested that when they did the makeup. He literally left set, went to a Starbucks just to see if anybody.
They were
He
like,
said the
"Ew."
only reaction was
Right?
how his scars.
Yeah, ew.
Besides that, nobody was like, "Holy shit, this Colin." Nobody knew who the fuck he was.
No,
If-
holy shit.
If nobody has watched it yet, I recommend everybody goes watch it. He just did a Hot Ones.
yes, I've
Where
seen
he
it.
talks about it, and it's an
Oh,
awesome
it's
interview,
amazing.
dude. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so
Excellent.
good.
He talks
It's so
about
good.
how the eyebrows move up, and you know, and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
just how well, like, it was just if that doesn't at least get an Oscar for, you know, best costume or best makeup,
eyebrows.
or
It's a new category.
Best
It
eyebrows.
really goes into
Yeah.
the freedom he
No,
had.
just
Like,
everything.
he had never done that before, where he's completely submerged. Like, we talk, you know, in the horror world, and there's tons of other characters where they're completely submerged in the makeup, right? But he was like, he had so much freedom, and I think that's the trailer tricked me with the one vocal scene you get of him in the car chase, where he does sound like De Niro, but then you realize,
I got you.
I got you,
I got you.
But in the rest of the movie, you realize he's just fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he does, the only thing I'm
He is
pissed
bringing out
about.
his inner
The only thing I'm
The
pissed
gold
about-
teeth choices were solid. That was
Yes,
a really
right?
smart choice.
The only thing I'm pissed about, and apparently he fought for it, and he talks about it in Hot Ones, he fought for it, was he wanted to have some sort of tobacco product. And they would not allow him to do it because of fucking today's bullshit,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Because he's like, just give me a cigar unlit to
Yeah.
hold while I'm talking to somebody, something. And
That's how
because
they've
of
gotten
our
away with it in the past in other
yeah.
movies too.
Well, I mean, fuck it, don't get away with it. Stop being little bitches and fucking smoking a goddamn movie.
But can we just say this isn't a family movie? I feel like
Yeah,
you
like,
got
what the
away
fuck,
with
man?
having him smoke something because it's
Stop being
not a
bitches.
family
how is
movie.
this? How did they get PG-13? Like,
No blood, no
I will
blood,
not be
no
bringing
blood.
my
that's the
kid
thing
to
is
this
that
movie.
it very much did that Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing where it was all implied, and it was very heavily implied. Like, it was gruesome. It was so fucking gruesome, and almost no blood.
Nope.
In this movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's buck wild how
I
like,
do still in my heart want an R-rated Batman movie at some point in my life.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is about as
Yeah.
close as
We've
as
ever
we've
gotten. We've ever gotten.
for sure.
He beats ass more, and I know Christian Bale was trained by Ra's al Ghul, but like this dude is just brutal.
I will say I was worried for a moment because the first time that Batman comes on screen, Robert Pattinson comes out of the shadows and he's not moving his arms when he walks, and he's like puffing out his chest, and he just kind of like weirdly walks out of the shadows in to see the crime scene, and I'm like, oh no, this looks awkward. And then that was the last moment that I had any doubts because like
Yeah.
he was perfectly fine. That walk-in was very weird. And then after that, he was fine. He was great. And so I don't know why they kept that part because it's so confusingly awkward where I'm like set up for failure. No, that's fine.
Would they reuse that particular thing throughout the movie multiple times where he walks out? He doesn't like run out. He doesn't rush out.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
at the end of the car chase, he's just doing the same walk
He
up
puts
to
on
fucking
the
Penguin.
loudest
He puts
boots
the fear.
possible.
Yeah.
It's about the fear,
Right.
Right. Like, and I think I think that's what that walk was about. Is like I'm not in a rush because I know I'm going to break all your fucking bones. I'm coming. What are you gonna do? Like,
Well, it's also the like, hey, I'm just here. Like, you don't know. Like, you probably think you saw me walk in, but you're not really
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I still appeared out of the fucking shadows.
fear, man.
Also,
fear.
Thinking
Yeah.
about it after the fact, like the intro was incredible, where they expanded on what's been hit on other movies before as well. That Batman doesn't need to be everywhere. It's the fear of him being around.
Yeah, this in the
They said,
dialogue.
like,
It's awesome.
You have more of a chance of being struck by lightning than running into the bat. You know, that's been a line in other movies. That's been a thing. But the way that they really translated this at the beginning of the movie was incredible.
Always
Yes.
looking in the chat in the
And
darkness.
so you have like a 5-minute like montage of all
Of
these
crime
people
happening.
looking in the dark and worrying the Batman's going to be there. And then you see Batman and then it's thump, thump,
Yeah.
thump, I'm here. Where it's just this clunky fucking like I'm the darkness and
No, vengeance.
vengeance. Sorry.
I love the way he says, because I mean, they did in the trailer, and I loved it then too. He's just like, vengeance. I'm like, oh, it's fucking hot, dude. So good.
Which two things. One, apparently he fought to have that in the original script that he says that first and then beats the shit out of the guy.
Afterwards.
But he fought for having it, saying it after, which I was like, yeah, that
That's
effect
better.
is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to
Oh.
have the one line after you like beat the shit out of a bad guy.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
So in this story, the basic gist is that Riddler is wreaking havoc on Gotham. Like he's
reasons.
For very
Good. I mean,
Pretty
justifiable.
well,
It's like the Thanos thing. You're like, I understand you, bro, but you're kind of going the wrong way about it. You know?
to the point where I love that is a through line with a lot of more modern
Villains,
superhero
yeah.
movies and villains is that you kind of not only understand where they're coming from, but you're like, you went a little too far,
Yes.
but I do see where you're coming from. You got that with Killmonger, with Thanos, and with Riddler as well, where like he was literally trying to stamp out the crime that was like
The true
systemic,
crime. Yeah.
systemic in Gotham, to the point when he gets arrested, he thought that he was working in tangent with Batman
Yes,
the whole time.
yes. It was-
Which is an
Right.
incredible moment.
Yes.
Oh.
So fucking awkward.
Like I said, that scene where he goes to see him in Arkham is just priceless.
it was
But-
like at the end of a bad date where the other person doesn't recognize it's a bad date. So you're like, oh, this is fun. Yeah, I'm free Saturday. That would be really great. Like I've had such a good time. And you're like, I didn't-
What?
I didn't really
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
really feel like
When you
anything
screamed
with
at the
this.
waiter, I wasn't all about that, and you thought I was cool with you bitching out somebody.
Well, I saw your face. You didn't
Yeah.
say anything, so I
Yeah,
assumed
I
you
thought we were
cool
on the
with
same
it.
side.
Yeah.
He did suck.
You called me a piece of shit because I didn't like the Beatles. I don't know why. You think that we're supposed to go out again?
He was crazy brilliant up to that point. So when he's like Bruce Wayne, you're like, oh shit. And he goes, I didn't get Bruce Wayne. You're like, oh, you're still crazy.
Fuck.
You're still a little crazy. You're not.
Yeah,
You're not.
yeah,
I was
you're not
waiting. I
100%.
thought he knew.
Yeah,
and they did
that's
that
the whole
so
thing,
well.
because his reaction is like, oh fuck me.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely played and towed that line of the whole like Riddler, Joker, Batman relationship, where the sort of like two sides of the same coin, where that's where they played with, whereas Riddler just thought that, because he's like, this guy's running around in a fucking bat, like dressed as a
Yeah.
bat fighting crime. We're alike.
like,
We're
"You
both
made
crazy. Right. And then he finds out it's not, and he gets so upset, where Joker, Batman never really, he'll be like, oh, I'm nothing like you. But it's never the reaction like he gave to Riddler was like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking
What are
about?
you talking
Yeah,
about?
I ghosted you for a reason.
I was going to say one thing I love about the lore they added to this, and what with the Riddler's character is you're talking about the systemic corruption in Gotham. Was this is the first time we've ever actually had the Arkhams come into play,
Yep.
and that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like people don't, you always hear Arkham Asylum, but as far as outside of the comics, in the films, we've never gotten the importance of the family
Yeah.
or where that name came
Wait,
from.
who was Arkham again?
Exactly.
Wait, what was the character's name?
Hmm?
Was it Martha?
Martha.
Sorry, I just
Yes.
wanted to see if Kyle.
But how
Martha
they were-
had an awful past.
also how they were intertwined into Bruce's life.
Sure.
So that was really cool. And like also when you hear about his grandmother killing his grandfather and then her killing herself and then his mother being locked in the insane asylum, you're like, oh Batman, you are crazy. You got a little crazy.
Like, you got a history of mental health issues.
Exactly. Like you got a little crazy going on in that bloodline, bro.
Well, so that whole the whole point of the in the movie, we'll talk about it in detail, which is the relief fund. I wonder if that's going to
renewal.
Oh, excuse me.
Renewal
Yeah,
fund.
the renewal fund. Did I say relief? I meant renewal. Whatever.
Everybody's like, ugh. It's a little too real.
That's why and that's really probably why they called it what they did in the movie.
right.
Like,
But I wonder
Quick
if that sets up since they're possibly going to be doing more sort of a Court of Owls situation, especially going all the way back to the Arkhams and just kind of bringing old school into the picture.
The thing is, they touched on so many different storylines from Batman with this. They did No Man's Land, Long Halloween, Court of Owls. I think even Mr. Freeze got a little bit of a possible lead in.
A tidbit of Hush.
A little bit of Hush. Well, yeah, Hush
a little
for
bit of
sure.
Hush,
Yeah. But one thing that I really liked is that there's been talk about like Bruce's mental health through a lot of these.
He's not stable.
But
No, you're not.
the fact that it's, especially with the conversations with Catwoman, it is clear that, like, even in this movie, it's just like Bruce Wayne isn't helping people. He's not donating like his family used to. He's not helping society the way that his family was known to help society. He's dressing up as a bat person and beating up muggers. Like, that's what he's been doing for 2 years.
Right.
Because
That's his therapy.
before Riddler, like, there was a suggestion that there was another character that happened before Riddler, but for the most part, there's people that are just like stealing purses that he's beating to almost death, dressed as a bat.
Yes.
So, like, they suggest that, like, this dude has serious mental health problems. Like, this isn't okay that he's, instead of using his vast wealth to better the city, he's using grappling hooks and like jumping off of buildings. He's not okay.
And blade knives.
And
Which is
yes.
fucking awesome.
What I was gonna say was, yes, I have read a few interviews with Pattinson and I believe one with Matt Reeves where they do say like, the future, if there is a sequel, we've set the groundwork for Court of Owls. So that could be something.
I saw that one too. Yeah,
that could be something we do, and I'm like, yeah, because what the Court of Owls we got in Gotham was some bullshit. Fuck that. That was nonsense. If we get the Court of Owls, dude, that was not.
I'm glad I didn't see that part of Gotham.
And
then
I think it all boils to them setting up the Rogues Gallery.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's obviously what it is. With there was some green shit he injected. I mean, there's a lot of things you can touch on, which I know.
Yeah,
we all know that was Venom.
Well, besides Bane, the version of Bane from the fucking Bruckheimer movies.
Bomb.
But
God damn.
Hey, by the way, what he could have potentially put into his body is the base of the Venom.
Yeah,
it's more true adrenaline.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's
that's
like
true
adrenaline.
seemed pretty
adrenaline.
clear. It looked like what Trent Reznor was drinking in the Perfect Drug video. I mean, like it looked like Venom.
I mean, was this Matt Reeves trying to fix as much as he could from all of Schumacher's fuck up? Riddler, Venom, like as much shit as he could get his hands on.
I want Matt Reeves to do like a shot-for-shot remake of a Bruckheimer Batman.
You mean Schumacher.
Or Schumacher,
Yeah.
and whatever, they're the same. But also, just do it in his tone, and people come out like Oscars. Give him like, it's fucking brilliant. This Poison Ivy being like, I like plants,
I
and
believe
people are like,
the Riddler and Schumacher was trying to get people to get head TVs. Is that
Head TVs.
He was stealing.
Yeah.
Yes, he was stealing their knowledge.
I want all the money. Like, all right.
Him utilizing the Venom, the way they did in the movie was so brilliant because it wasn't just like it was like an EpiPen or an adrenaline pen where you just need to get that immediate pick me up. It's like motherfucker just took a shotgun blast to the fucking chest. His ribs were broke.
oh yeah,
Like he was broken in so many places.
He got injected with a full ounce of like hate breed, like just like all of a sudden I just want to beat the fuck out of you. All right.
Dude, well, Gordon had to call him off, and that's where we get like that talk about where like his mental health is not in check. Now the older Batman, moving forward, he gets it rounded out. But again, we get year 2. We've got very, very, very rage-filled Bruce Wayne right now.
I just want to see like in the next movie, the first thing is that they come across like this vial of venom from where Batman's been, and they put it under a microscope, and it's just like organisms in a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Fucking cow! I want to see you open up this pit.
And and I'll say this with this version. With this version of Batman and Bruce Wayne, because obviously the Playboy's not there, and it makes sense.
Not yet, right?
Well, not yet. But if I honestly, and already watching it, if you want to see the evolution where I think this Batman goes in terms of the anger and the line that he may eventually cross down the road, is to watch Titans. The Bruce Wayne depiction in that show, as his older self and what things that he's willing to do. Because in the show, he kills Joker with a fucking tire iron. He beats him to death with it. So eventually he snaps.
Turnabout is fair play.
Right. Well, right. But the whole point is that's what he doesn't do.
Yeah.
But his psyche over time is so damaged and it just gets worse and worse. Where he covers his anger up in public, you don't see that like brooding all the time. But with that mask on, it's like it's tenfold.
That's kind of the one thing I will say I was a little disappointed about. And there's very few Bruce Wayne scenes in this movie.
I actually dig it.
Good.
But
good.
In the same instance, the one thing I appreciate about Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne, hands down, his Batman's so much better than Bale's Batman.
Yeah, I agree.
But the thing that I appreciate about Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is that he was making it so obvious, being such an obvious asshole, so flamboyant, that nobody would ever connect the two because they're so different. And I'm sorry, but you get to that funeral scene, and I mean, he's so quiet and moody and brooding that, I mean, he's not doing his best to misdirect anybody. And it is year 2, so you can have that. But I appreciate Bale's take on it. And that's the only gripe I have.
I agree.
I get, and I will say there's actually a scene where Bruce Wayne and Gordon have a small talk, and like they do this thing where like Robert Pattinson stares at him, and like it's almost like they're showing like, do you recognize me? It's almost like he's playing with it. Like, do you know who I am?
He's waiting for somebody.
Remember,
to
they focus on each of their faces for that small little bit of extra time where it's like, you know me, but do you know me?
I think Pattinson has the ability. I just like, and maybe they'll touch on that in a sequel.
Well, he can play a playboy,
and that's the only thing I kind of wanted to hope is just if you're gonna only have very short Bruce Wayne scenes, have him just kind of play around. Like, oh, I didn't hear about all that shit going on. I was getting drunk with these bitches. Like, some kind of quick like thing to throw people off.
If you want to get an idea on why he was cast as Batman for this role, if you haven't had the chance to see Good Time,
it's so good,
Safdie brothers,
so fucking good.
That's what Matt Reeves saw, and he was like, Robert Pattinson maybe, because you see Pattinson be able to play a much grittier character than he's played in a lot of other stuff. But also he has played the Playboy in other movies. What's that movie?
Cosmopolis.
Yes,
with David Cronenberg film.
He's been able to play both roles relatively well.
That's why I thought it was going to happen.
You compare those two together, and you go, yeah, I get why he would be cast as Batman because he's done both roles.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't like the biggest hater of Pattinson when he came out for the role because I learned my lesson after Affleck, but and Heath Ledger with Joker and stuff, but he still blew away my expectations.
Oh, he crushed it. And moving forward with the future of Batman, Reeves set up in the writing that now he has his understanding of what he needed to do and what the city needed changed.
Yeah.
Because remember, there's a whole dialogue while he's helping save people that, they need hope. And it's not just about fear and vengeance. And the girl touches him and he's like, this is weird. At first he's like, oh, I don't know what is this? And then he's like, oh, and he holds her hand and holds it all the way up until he can't hold it anymore.
Yep.
And he becomes the hope while also being, so I think where we're going to see the evolution goes to is like justice. It's not about vengeance. It's because hope is injustice. I think it's going to come to justice.
He was on the battlefield. He's in the war fighting.
Yeah.
While helping people.
Exactly.
The best he can, and
he needed to realize that because at first it was about beating the fuck out of bad guys.
Right.
And
that was his growth. Yeah. That was the one real growth of the movie was that I can be both.
Exactly.
In the sequel, I just want to see that like Gordon's gotten some hearing damage from all the explosions and shit he dealt with in the first one, so that when Batman talks to him, he's just like, I need to know where the villains are. And he's like, you got to speak up.
Yeah, what?
I can't.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like, no, I want to hear. He's like, this is not a mumblecore
If he's
movie.
anywhere near the Batmobile, then he definitely loses hearing.
Oh God.
Okay,
that
whoever did the sound treatment stuff for the Batmobile, that's like a full erection sound for like anybody that likes cars.
I know.
That like evil as fuck sounding engine. Holy shit. It was like the fires of hell got shoved into a car.
Now imagine that.
Holy shit.
Imagine that in the IMAX.
Oh,
my ass shook, and I had a diamond cutter for like the whole
I literally know
thing.
every time that scene's on because my office is upstairs in the booth, and it's next to one of the houses, and I know specifically every time the show's playing near my office because all of a sudden my office starts fucking shaking, and I'm like, holy
Oh, dude, that motor sound though.
And the first day we opened, I was like, "What the fuck?" And now I'm like, "Okay, the Batmobile is driving down there."
Whoever did the audio mix for that fucking engine needs just a blow-spect blowjob. Like it's not sexual. It's not sexual. It's not like weird. It's just this like you deserve to come. Like, thank you so much for that.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, everything worked for this movie. The visuals, the sound, the Batman, where he's more, he creates his own shit, you know, where he doesn't just pump money and he gets these fantastic gadgets. Like, he makes his shit. He doesn't have someone making them for him.
Similar to
like the car,
one.
like the car, he had been working on that. I remember reading an article where it was basically the idea was that he's been working on this car for years, and the idea is that not only to make it armored, he wants to make it tough. He wants to make it the fastest vehicle basically on
like
Earth.
A jet engine in it.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was his goal.
Who made the greatest bulletproof vest I have ever seen ever? Lightweight, so he can move, because that fucking vest or the armor takes on. Like
shotgun blast.
Not just shotgun.
An
There's one
automatic
scene where there's two automatic guns at his chest, and he's like, "Ugh, that didn't even bother me." I'm like,
and the helmet.
Yeah.
The cowl,
like nobody's aiming for his exposed part of his face. Like, all it takes is one bullet to his jaw, and this dude is fucking down.
Now they do show a scene where he's running from the onslaught of bullets.
Right.
And he's doing this, so this would block it.
Okay.
Like they do show him covering his.
I mean,
exposed parts.
it's Batman. He understands that is exposed. There's no way he's going to just let anyone shoot anything at him. He'll everything
I don't
he
think
did.
most people let people shoot at them.
how?
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, a couple times he kind of just stood there and took the.
Well,
bullets.
yeah, he did because he knew he was armored.
But how heavy does that? I mean, we're talking about close.
How physically?
range.
I don't care how good the Kevlar is.
Exactly.
I'm not going to let people shoot me.
Go ahead.
Like, I'm not going to do
really
it.
worth
But I think he, you know, obviously having the money he has, probably got his hands on some pretty dense materials.
And
you
it's
know,
a different alloy that
like
can
large,
be light.
large amount, like some mixture of like tungsten and some other shit that just.
It's just Marjorie Taylor Greene's forehead. Like
Nothing gets
the
through.
densest thing you can ever imagine.
But yeah, you're right. It's got to be light. The only
Fucking pea brain.
I from some of the scenes when he's like, you see the back of him, and I hope because they did fix it in the Nolan version. I hope they do this because there's got to be a sequel with this film. With what this movie's making, they're going to get greenlit for a sequel.
Oh no!
I hope they make it to
sure
where his head's more mobile.
Sure.
The whole like turning of the head thing is still a problem.
I got attacked by a dog. I need a new helmet. And they're like, "We've done this already.
Well,
you can't
no,
do
it's
that
gotta be
again."
So
something
I think they could, but obviously Matt Reeves was going just like Christopher Nolan did, was as realistic as possible.
No, and early on. So
I mean,
we see the progression of the suit.
His glider,
Yeah.
his gliding
Dude,
suit.
his
That
fucking
was
suit
smart.
was so good.
It was so awesome.
good.
and it's such a year 2 move. That was fucking
Because
great.
it doesn't take you out of the movie. Like in the movie, you're like,
And he
shit,
sucked at it.
like this
He
shit.
got fucked up
Yeah.
when he landed, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, is Batman dead already?
like it was probably the first time he's ever really had to use it.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, shit. But when he did it, it's like, you know what? People can still do that. People physically do that all the
In the
time.
mountains
with
all the
those type-
time. Yeah, they're just fucking flying around.
and so you know, like the wing in Dark Knight, or the Batman Begins, where it's electrified and it hardens. Like I'm sure that maybe can happen, but that shit just more believable to me.
No, it was. I was just saying, I think the evolution of the suit, you'll see some things.
Well, how he fell made sense too.
He got fucked up.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, like watching these movies as I've gotten older definitely takes me out of it a little bit, because I think about like him crashing really fucking hard after doing the wingsuit thing and all the gunfire and like broken ribs and all the shit that he's dealing with, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm in pain, but I guess I'm just gonna fucking deal with it." And I'm 40 and I stretch and then I'm fucked for 2 days because like my neck hurts in a weird way where I can't turn too far one way. And like I had all these delusions of grandeur when I was younger that I could fuck this motherfucker up. I don't give a fuck. No, fucking no.
Vitamin-
Big, gigantic no.
I will say one thing before we go into the break is, and piggybacking off what you're saying, Hobbit, is like, Pattinson did such a great job, and I don't know if it was direction from Reeves or if this was Pattinson's choice because he knew it needed to be done, is you saw he was hurt. Like
he was weathered.
You saw him.
Scars his back.
Well, no, I'm talking about after something big happened to him, you saw he was in pain. Like
Yeah.
you saw when he got up from that landing, he was like, I'm going to go ahead and fuck my hip. Like
Go
he's
ahead,
just like,
take a knee for a second.
Yeah. But I like that. It's, Bale did that somewhat, but then he would get up in the morning and do push-ups after having a
Ben
smoothie.
Affleck did that a lot, but I mean, he was beaten up by Superman. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
and also Batman was like almost 50.
well, yeah, truth.
This is a young Batman who's taking his lumps and he's like, I'm gonna feel that fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's
and I really love that.
That's only 2 years.
Yeah.
That's only 2 years.
It's only 2 years.
That's what happens to me if I just sleep weird. So I don't know. But yeah, this good time for our break. Great first half. This is so much fun to talk about. I cannot wait for the second half. Get into the nitty gritty. We haven't talked about Catwoman almost at all.
No, we definitely need to bring up Zoe Kravitz.
I mean, the
she
most
fucking-
attractive person that's ever existed on the face of the earth. I mean,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
No, she's attractive.
I
she's
mean,
not the most
As far as
attractive.
Catwomen
but she's
go,
in
you
that,
mean?
she's
Oh,
in
she's
that
in the
tier
top
where it's-
category,
Are you
where
talking
it's
about like women in general,
In general.
or just human beings? I mean,
human people?
She's one of the.
she is beautiful.
Yeah.
She is absolutely like just a beautiful person. Like you
She's
could
like,
just see.
she's impossible looking. Like I get
Yeah.
mad looking at
Yeah.
her because
Like,
she's
we
so.
also
well, I
need to
mean,
bring
look at her lineage.
I mean, yeah, true.
Lenny Kravitz is not an ugly man.
no.
No, Lenny Kravitz is also in that fucking tier. So like,
Who's her mom?
Bonet, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
let Lisa Bonet and
Oh,
Lenny
yeah,
Lisa
Kravitz.
Bonet.
there you go. You're gonna make a beautiful love child.
yeah.
Because both of them are just like,
Look, she's married.
God.
She's married to Aquaman. So does that mean like Batman's dating his
Stop.
stepdaughter?
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
all right.
Let's not.
We're going
I
to
said
the break.
dating his
We're done.
stepdaughter.
We're
We're going to the break. Stick
Ugh.
around, listen to some of the stuff happening around town, and some
Go
of the
fuck a
shows
fish.
on the network. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May
the schlock be with you.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
Hey guys, Scotty P here with Smash,
On your left.
and we are the Geekfathers. That's right, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent.
So welcome to our world.
And as always, join us.
Or cry.
In a world with too many reboots and remakes,
Two men will stop at nothing to make it even worse.
join Mike the Hobbit and Tondi as they play by their own rules while pitching new takes on some of your favorite and least favorite films and TV shows. What podcast would dare to bring this upon the world?
This is Smack My Pitch.
We're back for the second half of Geeks Under the Influence, all things The Batman. Before we get into the rest of that conversation very quickly, we're going to talk about our sponsors. Amazon.com, the place that you go for all your wares to be delivered to your home. If you are looking for any kind of Batman materials, whether it be the Chris Nolan trilogy, some 66 Batman action, the 66 Batman comics, which are better than you would expect them to be.
or just some of the trades of movies or books that influenced this movie. I mean, Long Halloween, shit like
Year
that.
one.
Year one, year two, yeah.
Hush.
Hush.
Well, not fully.
No, but there's elements.
there's
There's
elements.
nice little sprinklings
What's
in this.
crazy
series.
is there is a year two Batman.
Yeah.
You know who the artist was for that?
Mm-mm.
Early Todd McFarlane.
No shit.
wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get all those products at Amazon.com. Just make sure you go through our link at GUIPodcast.com. Click on the Amazon link, and that'll send you to the Amazon website. We get credit for whatever you purchase, so it kicks back a few bucks our way. So you can purchase all the stuff you're planning on purchasing, and we get some credit for it. Helps us pay for all the equipment and the booze and the...
Building up our funds to build our own Batmobile,
People got to shop at Amazon a hell of a lot
Yeah.
more if we're going to get a Batmobile.
It starts with the bolts. We're building ourselves up, all right?
Literally, and then
Yeah.
by like 80 years
Dude,
old, we'll
by
have
30,
a fucking...
in 30 years, we'll have half
It's
of
going to
it.
be the Batmobile version of Johnny Cash on one piece at a time. Where it's like,
Oh, I didn't say full size. I mean,
like literally, we're just looking to buy the model of the Batmobile, and it's going to take us some time.
Yeah.
We'll just buy it piece by piece and do an elapsed video.
There we go.
It'll take about 10 years.
10
I think
years.
we can do
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Knock it down to 5 minutes. See, guys? 10 years, 5
Exactly.
minutes.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Worth it.
I know we've aged, but one of us has passed away.
By a fucking Batmobile Power
Right.
Wheel.
Yeah, we incorporate the funeral as like, and this person died. We just like,
This just happened within the last 10 minutes.
Another way to support us, besides Amazon, of course, is TeePublic. Woo! We just got some new designs on the store. Hunter, you got some beautiful disasters business happening there.
Yeah. A little inspiration from Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah, it's an incredible logo. Thanks to our friend Lorna Red Patch, regular panelist, to putting those designs together for us. There's also the new design from Smack My Pitch Up, Part 2, the sequel series that's on the same stream. It's just there's two of us now.
Is this time it's personal?
This time it's vengeance.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the reckoning.
what, pitch harder?
Pitch harder. Yeah.
Reboot deeper.
Yeah. Reboot deeper. Yeah. Smack My Pitch Up has been reformatted slightly. We have a co-host now. Me and Tondi are doing all the business now.
Sweetness.
And it's been a lot of fun. We actually just recently released a Batman episode where we pitched ideas for our own ideas on a Batman movie.
Oh, God.
That was a lot of fun. So check that out on the stream. And also, if you want a design, it's basically an homage to Lethal Weapon, and he's Murtaugh, and I have a full mullet.
Of course he's fucking Murtaugh.
I don't want to see what our Twitter would look like if I was Murtaugh. Like, that would not go over well.
You might get some more reactions, but not the reactions
you want.
Yeah.
Not the right reaction.
Hey, we made the
Oh,
news.
and then you invite people like, I see what you did there. Like, no.
Two Richmond podcasters.
Wrong audience. Wrong audience.
You're my favorite Murtaugh ever.
Jeez.
Yo, canceled.
Oh, yeah, no shit. No.
When I'm done listening to Joe Rogan, I listen to Smack My Pitch. Nope. Just get out to... So yeah, no, there's a few designs. There's a few more that are going to be coming onto the TeePublic site very soon. Keep an eye out. I know there's sales going on all the time. There's a sale starting the day after we record this episode. So
Of course there is.
There's always a sale going on.
Sale.
Yes.
A sale. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so yeah, check that out. There's plenty of designs available. Just go to the GUIPodcast.com/store or just click on the store link on our homepage. That'll send you right to the TeePublic site where we've got like close to 40 designs available. And more than that during the holiday season. We got tons of shit. So check it out. And that is the best way to contribute to this shit show that we have here at GUI. And that's the sponsors. Whoop. Woo. Yay. Okay, now we go into the important stuff.
Yes.
This is really where it's important. This is a conversation about what powers us, like the probably unbearably expensive gasoline in the Batmobile from this newest Batman movie.
That's okay when you're a billionaire.
When you're a billionaire, it's like he's a billionaire and he's like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I guess put it on the card. I don't know.
guess put it on the bat card.
That shit's going to be running on.
The drive home from the chase scene, he's like, God damn, that was $4,000. Fuck me.
That shit's going to be running on biofuel soon.
Yeah,
It's going to go 30 miles an hour and
He's like-
smell like shit.
He wants fucking Doc Brown, like, hey, Doc, I need you to come to the Batcave for a second. Can we run this shit off garbage? Thank you.
Batmobile gets 2 miles per gallon.
Yeah. On the highway. It's on the highway.
He hits the nitrous and immediately runs out of gas. And he's like, okay, well, that's why Joker got away.
He's got to get out and push it. He's got to push it down one of the Gotham's back streets at night.
He's like, why'd you let the Joker go? Because gas is $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
That's why Joker.
That's when
got
we catch
away.
someone later on, he's like, fucking goddamn fucking, how far did you make me fucking drive? Yeah. That
Right.
takes that aggression out.
Yeah.
That's why he's like, I'm vengeance.
Yeah. I'm
That's right.
vengeance on my fucking gas tank.
God, it cost me $2,000 to chase you down.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like fucking. Oh.
Luckily, something weirdly way cheaper than gasoline right now
booze.
is booze. And
If you can find it.
That is what's powering us. And because the Smash is here, I think we should hear the dulcet tones of Kyle Smash reliving his heyday and singing the "Hey, we're fucking drinking" song.
Like Batman. Is it like Batman?
I mean, please.
I have to remember the words. Hey, We're fucking drinking. We're getting drunk. You want to know? Here you go. Hey.
Every woman listening to the show now has turned it off. Like, it reminds them too much of a party that they had to leave early.
Or they've just highlighted that part, turned the bass up on the speaker, and Howard Stern.
I was about to say that shit.
Don't give them any ideas. That was my Christian Bale Batman voice.
I do want to know, Kyle Smash. I do.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Tell me.
Yeah, tell me.
Tell me now.
Drink me.
Yeah. I am vengeance. And you.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Woo. Here we are.
All right. So
Part 2.
The share that we have this evening is I looked up and there was actually a mixed drink called the Bruce Wayne, and
It's special.
it actually does make sense, especially as a drink that you drink right before you watch a 3-hour Batman movie. Is a coffee related drink. This is a mixture of coffee or iced coffee, maple syrup, and bourbon. And I'll be sharing the mixture ratio along with a picture of the drink in a solo cup because we're fancy on the social media when we release this episode. The maple syrup isn't enough that it makes it super sweet or anything. It's just enough to kind of cut that like bitterness from the iced coffee and then cover the bourbon a little bit. But this is definitely drinkable.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm drinking it. It's good.
I mean, I enjoy it. I will say that. No. I mean,
he's got better with this. Look at that.
I want to punch you in the face, but I want to.
Dude, again, the brooding thing, I got it. I'm synced with Bruce on that. No, like the coffee comes in first, and then you get the bourbon. So it's like this weird like mash on the back end after the coffee. You know what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
It's not bad. It's just like the first couple sips, I'm like, I got to get used to that. And you don't really taste the syrup. It's just kind of like this little sweetness.
It's a little hint.
It just cuts the bourbon and coffee.
It's like
which is why you just get that weird hump of mash.
The coffee is so dominating that's
I would say part of that might be the fact that I drink Cuban coffee. So this is the
you drink Cuban coffee, man,
or the Bustelo.
Oh yeah, Cafe Bustelo. That's
Cafe
what I
Bustelo.
drink.
Yeah,
very strong.
I literally brought a cup of it right now.
Nice. So
it's delicious.
If you were drinking regular coffee like a normal person at your home, it's probably going to mix a little bit better. I have this like high octane shit that I live off of.
God, we got to go to sleep after this shit. Fuck you, Hobbit.
Well,
you got like 4 ounces of it.
That's true.
I will say it's almost like an Irish coffee that like you forgot to put the cream in, just let sit. You know, like it got cold.
Okay,
like that's what it tastes like.
Gross and curdled. Like,
no, you forgot to put the creamer in. So it's
like a lazy. You're saying a lazy Irish coffee. Okay.
You just poured bourbon in your coffee and you let it get cold.
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne, also known as the Lazy Irish.
Yes. I wait for that episode.
No,
the Lazy Irish. We just start doing like racist episodes, but like you know how the Irish are lazy.
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne, my last. You know what? We're not going to go there.
We got a problem?
No.
O'Neill?
No.
You got a problem?
No.
That's what I thought.
No, not yet. Not while we're recording.
Yeah.
I don't want any evidence.
That info on this drink will be on our social media, so check that out. Join the social media. There's plenty of content.
No, I enjoyed it. It was tasty. It's definitely not something I would drink on the regular.
Or a lot of. Like, you're not going to make like a fucking Slurpee big gulp container of this stuff and...
No, you should do that general with iced coffee, man.
You shouldn't do that anyways.
The only time that I accept this, because I'm not a fan of bourbon and Cokes, because I don't think they mix well as bourbon and gingers, but I will take a Coke Slurpee and pour bourbon in that motherfucker.
Oh, fuck
yes, sir. And I've done it many times.
All day.
7-Eleven, baby.
It's a delicious little treat.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Especially like you're at the beach.
Speaking of a delicious little treat, let's talk about Catwoman a little bit. Moving on to the second half here.
Gorgeous.
I love the simplicity of the cat mask. It was almost out of accident that she looked like a cat, and it was definitely a play on the Women's March on DC where they had the pink pussy hats.
That's right.
So it was a play on that a little bit, but it was also just this really simplistic choice.
We're going to need Matt Reeves' confirmation on that one, or her choice.
Now, I will say this. I mean, she did a really good job and amazing eye candy. I don't know how important Catwoman was to this story.
She wasn't really.
It seemed like it was kind of like there was a ratio and
there was a story for her character, but she wasn't important to the overall.
There was a small little like part that connected her to what was going on. Besides that, I don't know if she was as
I mean, it
important.
wasn't kind of.
I'm not saying.
It wasn't.
I'm not saying. I'm not booing when she was on screen. Don't get me fucking wrong. I just felt like she was kind of a sideline part of the story, the main story.
All right. So a counterpoint to that is that you have to remember that if and Matt Reeves definitely was following in the steps of older school noir. The principle behind the setup behind that is your detective or your wayward guy, your lonesome hero fighting. And then you have the femme fatale who ends up bringing him deeper into the trouble. So that's where her character comes in and brings her deeper into that world that she is from, which ends up helping him. The femme fatale has always kind of played that character in the noir style movies.
Yeah, but with the femme fatale, there's always like a lust, and there's
Did you not look at her?
Batman forced her back into. She hadn't been to the 44 below.
That's
in
true.
how long? It wasn't. She didn't pull him. He forced her to go in there and do recon.
Yeah,
and he was mad when she fucking cut it. So
I wouldn't say he forced her.
He was like, "Go,
Do it."
He basically said, "Do it." Like, I mean, he really. Am I wrong? Did he not
also,
like?
Catwoman was kind of like, "Ooh, yeah, tell me again what I should do." I mean, she was kind of,
but it wasn't like she pulled him into it. He wanted to go there. He just needed somebody that could get in there.
I am happy that she did go because that scene with her walking in and just like shot
the
amazing.
different wigs she has too. Good God.
Fuck, that was a good scene. Let's just say that.
So.
Also, I think what I got from it also is that there is a big conversation, especially with Batman and the Riddler, as far as like where the fight for Batman's soul, what he's doing with Gotham and the choice that he's making as being the Batman, where that goes, and to see two sides of his direction where he could go, one being the Riddler, where if he went just full on one way, because the Riddler at one point, like this entire time, thought they were working together.
Yeah.
Because Batman's standing for justice, and Riddler in a weird way, in a weird, skewered, terrible way, is standing for justice also.
Yeah.
And Catwoman, in a way, is looking for like justice, or at the very least vengeance for what happened to her and her life. And
Not just her, but her friend.
and her friend,
was right.
she's trying to find the guilty party, and that's a more respectable way to go. And Batman has to find where in that spectrum he exists, and so they're kind of counterpoints. They're on one end or the other. They're both not doing the way Batman wants to because there's a heavier morality that he is struggling with that neither one of those characters do.
Well, that's one of the deeper meanings of Batman and all of his enemies is that moral ambiguity of, how far will he'll go just far enough. Like in this one, it was unlike other ones. It was pretty clear, like he would go pretty goddamn far.
I mean, this Batman's going to kill him.
Yeah, like he's like, it's like I may not knowingly kill you, but you're brain damaged. Like you're going to be eating through a straw for the rest of your life, while all of the rogues gallery of his enemies are defined by not being morally, ambiguous. They don't give a fuck about the line.
No.
It's not, and
that was a good conversation he had with Catwoman. It was like once you go there, you can't come back.
Right.
Sure.
But that was the only mention he had outside of the one comment he mentioned to Gordon when they went to the what turned into the drop head house.
Oh yeah.
Whatever what was that?
You mean the Iceberg Lounge?
No.
It was the old orphanage.
Old orphanage.
Oh,
Yeah.
the old
But he had that
orphan-
one
yes.
line with
Yeah,
Gordon.
yeah,
It's like no guns, and then
Right.
Gordon's like, I don't have the same proclivities
that was
as
a
you.
great
It was awesome
line.
But every other time, like there was a mention, and there was a previous conversation with Catwoman and Batman where she's like, "Well, fucking kill him," and Batman, and he just looked at her like he wasn't like forceful about the not killing thing. He was just like, well, if it ever comes to that, I'm gonna stop it. Like you know what I mean? Like he didn't like evidently say like
Well, he
no
didn't
killing.
preach about it.
Well, yeah, he didn't. He just looked at her like as she walked away and like, well, if you try, he's
He
like, if
wasn't
you
like-
try, I'm gonna fucking stop you.
He didn't. Yeah, he wasn't like no guns, be better.
Exactly.
I'm actually reconsidering my position in that Batman isn't the one in the middle of the spectrum. It's actually Catwoman.
Catwoman.
It is.
Yeah.
So that was her arc in this.
She's the
that
connective
she is
tissue.
kind of the barometer on the soul of Gotham. Is that it's somebody who was raised in a horrifying, situation and was raised in the darkest, most depraved.
Yeah,
aspects.
Bob Boss's daughter who was cast aside and like never acknowledged and like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he didn't know until the final scene
Batman's
was
whole
Falcone.
thing is that he's trying to save Gotham one person at a time, and so by preventing Catwoman from taking that life, from making that choice that she can never turn away from, and she goes down that dark path. That is kind of his one person at a time example of how he's trying to save the city. So
he does it by example, but he's willing to go so
and just
far.
wait 2 seconds, and some dude from a window is going to kill him anyway. So like it doesn't matter.
Right.
I will say once he took that venom shot, dude, when he was beating the fuck out of that dude, his face afterwards. Oh, remember when the guy took his mask off?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that was the same dude that when he was
he talked to him in the station.
when they were walking up to the funeral.
No, the funeral. Yes, it was the funeral.
It was the one dude that was talking about that. It was like in the crowd that was like yelling and stuff, and he was wearing the same coat that he wore as one of Riddler's like
cronies.
Right.
Same. Also, the kid that tried to jump the line and run in was also wearing that same kind of coat. So they were already there. They were in the background.
Can we throw that out? Kind of a little close to home is the person that has the followers believing that the government officials are lying and that they need to take it in their own hands to, like, I was like, this is pretty fucking close.
I think that was on purpose.
I know when they're all gathered with their guns, I was like, God damn, this shit's.
This movie was like 5 years in the making.
This has been an issue going on for longer.
But I'm just saying,
exactly.
It definitely, like, the politicians are lying. We must murder the shit out of them. I was like,
Well, because remember this movie was
that's
supposed
been
to come out.
ongoing for
this
decades.
movie was supposed to come out I think summer of 2020. So if it came out summer of 2020, imagine like how nail on head that would have been at the time.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's just coincidental, but it still didn't. Again, watching this, going, like, oh, it's a movie, and then thinking, wow, that kind of follows along guidelines of shit we've had happen recently.
But that's what's important is that there's such a believability to that because of what we've experienced.
Well, it goes to show you what one person can do with a keyboard and a belief, and how they can infect
just
the mind of others, or trigger into other people what's been triggered into them. You see in this movie, like, one person can do a lot of damage, even if it's just them setting up 7 vans around, right? That they can do so much damage with a very little bit. So how scary it is when someone has a lot.
That's why I actually appreciate the third act. For me, like, I know some people complain about it, but pretty much when he's like, yeah, you can put me in Arkham now. Like, my final steps are already there in place, and then you follow it through as it happens. Like, he's like, yeah, I did, like, kind of like, throw it out there, John Doe in 7, where he's like, yeah, you can arrest me now. Like, the head's in the box already. It's going to come. To him, it's like, yeah, you can arrest me. The van's are already set up. My goons are already set up.
He knew he was going to be arrested.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he takes that pleasure, and like, yeah, I can just watch it. You think you won, but there's a whole other
we were going to watch it together.
Can we talk about Paul's performance when the bombs go off around the flood wall, and he's like, just knows the timing, so he's just like screaming boom and smacking the window. I'm like, God, I mean, again, his fucking performance was just
killer.
So goddamn eerie. Like,
well, actually, you know what? One of my favorite scenes, and this is like Endgame spoiler, because one of my favorite scenes is after everything is gone down, and he's sitting in their cell. Surprise, surprise! You get a little cameo.
Yeah, which I had some issue with that.
But the dialogue between them
was good.
Was so villainous. And it was like, all right, we went through this like dark serial killer thing, but now we're just gonna fuck the world up out in the open.
And also, and nobody knew, that actor was also the shitbag. Well, not shitbag, because I don't know him, but
Eternals
and 13 Reasons Why. So I'm not very excited about that.
I don't know how to
I don't like that actor.
It's Barry.
We talking about from
Dunkirk,
right? The older kid in Dunkirk.
Yeah.
He's from.
I would like to say that credit, and let's.
No, because he did all those other things. He got Biggs in 13 Reasons Why, and then then he did Dunkirk. Then he gets put in the Eternals. So no, we're gonna list all his shit, okay? Because I do not care for him as an actor. He was
Barry Cogan.
Boring. And
Cogan.
This is that scene, and you do get a really cool shot through the peephole of what the Joker's face looks like, and I'm like.
It's
all right,
scarred as fuck.
You just took it out of Grounded and took it back to like Jigsaw Punisher shit.
Well, just
with
when
his
you
face.
literally got 2 years earlier.
Dude, it looks really fucking scarred.
It might look good with the makeup.
It's still gonna look comic booky.
But when you had 2 years prior, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie.
Exactly.
And you set up like, and that whole movie is set up in this dark, fucked up Gotham.
Well, Matt Reeves actually talked to that point where he's like, there was Batman, like I said, that's how I was like, Batman, this movie was like 5 years in the making. And so he had already started writing and they already started filming before Joker
but why
came
have
out.
that kind of Joker at the end of your movie if everything is so built in realism?
Because look, that Joker took place in the 80s. This Batman takes place in modern time. That's Joker's already in his 40s. So now Joker would be fucking 80 in this movie.
No, because it's been stated that the Joker movie is not supposed to be the actual Joker that we know from the comics as a proto-Joker.
Well, it's before he becomes a clown.
Proto-Joker.
Yeah.
It's before, and just they
No,
even
it's not before he becomes it. He sets off the movement where the actual Joker comes out.
and that
Which is why the kids in the subway are wearing kind of Joker makeup.
So that was also a play on Gotham back then too.
So-
that was that thing that happened in Gotham where the Joker became the Joker because of the ideology he spread.
Yep.
So
across
if the
Gotham.
kid, if the guy in the cell is 30, 35, 40 years old, it's very, very.
But Reeves also said that he isn't fully the crown prince of crime.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
in this film yet
Yeah,
either. He's still
sure.
learning. Like you see that year one,
Yeah.
like Batman, Batman had to have a villain before the Riddler, right? So it's kind of like their relationship already started, right? And Batman put him there, but he has not yet fully fleshed out to be the full Joker that
There
we
was
know.
an Easter egg in one of the pictures that are on the wall in Riddler's apartment building. There's a picture of Bruce Wayne, and behind him is somebody in the crowd that has this grin, and it's literally the actor that is playing the Joker in the cell, where he's grinning behind it. So the suggestion is that he's been stalking Bruce Wayne this whole time.
Right. Which, listen, if he was a follower of, if you could connect the tissues of those universe, he was the follower of the Joker from the 80s.
Reeves
and
said there would
knew
be no
about,
connection, though.
I know there's not, but it's.
No,
it's
he said it. He's like, I'm not connecting the two.
No, I know
which
there's
sucks.
not,
I
but
hate
it's
it.
grounded enough, and the time, like you could, in your mind, your imagination connect them.
I agree. It just sucks that it's not connected.
I feel like Warner Brothers at this point is like when Arrested Development won an Emmy after it was canceled. Where like
they're like,
they're like, we're not doing the Snyderverse anymore, and then the Snyder Cut comes out, and everybody's like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And then Peacemaker is really good, and Suicide Squad's really good, and Warner Brothers is like, fuck, we already said we weren't doing this anymore. Like
Somebody's getting fired.
that there's going to be some weird iteration. I'm sure Flashpoint will like basically kind of clear some of the wreckage and get a version of the Snyderverse back under tow again. But
it's not supposed to redo it though. It's not supposed to like erase all that. That has been very clear with the new Flash movie. That it's not supposed to erase all the previous movies. It'll modify shit, but it will not erase the Snyderverse
like
at all.
Batfleck's not coming back.
Yes,
like
he's in.
Well,
Flash.
no, he's in Flash, but like he's not coming back after Flash.
No. So that might be that might be switched and turned around.
So are they changing Superman too?
It looks like it, but if not, Michael B. Jordan will come in, and I think he'd do a fucking awesome job.
Well, that's the thing. We're dealing with that with both the Marvel Cinematic
But there's already
Universe
been a
and
Black
the DC
Superman.
universes. We're doing
It's not about
multiverse in Marvel, and we're doing the Flashpoint in DC. The plus side is that Marvel has had successful films up to this point. That the
DC's gonna
characters
fail
have
again.
been playing it for 15 years.
That's where I'm
so they're
at.
like over it. They're like, I want to do an indie movie. So they're like, cool. We can just like get I don't know, like Aaron Eckhart to play you instead or something.
No, but I'm just DC. I feel like because you're right, Marvel has been successful for so many years. DC has just recently had good movies.
Well, first off, that's not true. They've been doing the comic book game for a long time.
I said good movies recently.
So the
good movies.
So you could go back to Christopher Reeves. That Superman movie wasn't.
We're talking about when
if Warner Brothers.
It's still a Superman superhero
after
movie.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or Spider-Man No Way Home. If DC pulls like where they have somebody that is like got a deep fake Christopher Reeves face on it, I'm done. I'm fucking done with DC.
They'll never do that.
Like
they'll never do that.
I don't
I'm
think
talking
they would
about
do that.
apples to apples studios. The amount of good movies DC has done is on one hand.
Since Marvel,
compared to I need two hands in my faces for the Marvel.
Yeah, since Marvel started the universe.
Yes. 2008.
Yes.
To 2008 going forward. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about previously because Marvel had shit previous too. with fucking Hulk and
Except
the
Howard the
Punisher.
Duck.
I think there was
Yeah.
Punisher. Yeah,
because
it's
Howard the
terrible.
Duck was a fucking amazing
First
movie.
off, it's a gem, and I still have the VHS.
I love it, but we all have to
Still
agree
have
it's
the
not a
VHS.
good movie.
No, it's not good, but
Oh, no, it's
goddamn,
awful.
not a
but
good movie.
Fuck,
And
it's fun.
children
Oh, I love
should,
it.
and children definitely shouldn't watch it.
I did though. That was the sad part. I watched it.
Oh no,
I was
so
like
did
seven.
I.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I got
I mean,
most of my watching.
I'm pretty sure
before I was-
Howard the Duck is why furries exist. Like, they're like, you can fuck animals. This is amazing. And then they just moved.
That makes me sad and pain.
Although I'd love to see if you just see a furry walk down the street in a big fucking Howard the Duck costume. Like I'm talking the '80s movie Howard the Duck.
There's like
not the
18
comic.
fennec foxes, and there's just one Howard the Duck that's smoking a cigar out of the
like fucking martini glass. Like,
Which one of you? He's basically what's that video game? The fucking
the
Leisure
Suit Larry.
Larry.
Oh, okay.
Like
The PC game?
Yeah, like the video, the furry version of Leisure Suit Larry rolling up, and there's like
Yeah.
I always love the second half where we were talking about the very serious.
We got really
Batman.
it went like
And
way
Yeah.
fucking
What
crazy.
the
But anyway,
fuck
It
off
starts
the
with the
rails.
fundamental misunderstanding
But
of
I
how
just
the
always
human body
appreciate
works.
that about the second half.
Yeah.
It's that because we're talking about a pretty fucking serious movie, and we got a furry fucking. All right,
what
like
I do
seriously.
want to just bring it back on track.
I bet you
The
do.
issue that I saw with, and
Fox.
again, it wasn't the full face, so it might look better, but it was scarred. But it definitely looks heavily comic book / Arkham games
Oh, 100%.
Joker face,
100%.
which isn't natural. It's like I said, it's like Jigsaw from fucking Punisher, dude.
Can I just throw out a thing? Can we just lay off of Joker for a little while? Because
I agree. I
Because
100%
you know what?
agree.
I fucking love Heath Ledger's Joker. To
Yes.
me, it's always be top. I appreciate Joaquin Phoenix. He did a good job. There's too much fucking Joker going on. Let's take a break for a little while.
There-
You don't
can
have to
argue
put
the-
Joker in
You
your
can
movie.
argue the same thing about Batman,
I understand.
like
But
completely.
Batman
the same
has
thing about
a
Batman.
gigantic rogues gallery. But you wouldn't know from DC, who only thinks there's 6 or 7 characters they can use.
And we got the Riddler,
It's
which
like
is
fucking
awesome.
Magneto.
Why not?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Right.
maybe use
I'm just
Omega
saying,
Red
you
like
don't
somebody.
need Joker
anybody.
at the end of this
Ooh.
movie.
Yeah,
You
fair.
can put in anybody else,
Yeah.
but you gotta fucking do it. And it's like
Mr. Sinister.
there's Joker fatigue that's gonna happen. I mean, in the last fucking 5 years, there's been 3 different Jokers.
It's pandering. It's
Right.
fucking pandering.
Well, the only way that I could see you bringing the Joker back in would be it not to be a Joker-centric film in terms of, it's like it's not focused on the Joker. It would have to be Rogues Gallery people working together in some form or fashion to take down Batman or to take over
Oh,
the city.
thank you.
Like in this case, they've set it up where it could be Riddler and Joker working together. Now, if you have that sort of film, I think you could bring the Joker in without it being too much. Of course, that
But
all depends on
I do
the
agree
players.
with I like what you're going with that, because I do agree with Hunter. Like, we don't need a Joker right now. The last Joker we got before Joaquin Phoenix, so the second to last one, was fucking it's just so bad.
We're talking about Riddler, right? It's the way you don't need Joker.
Yeah.
This whole movie took a character that was Jim Carrey, goofball, fucking green tights, and made him fucking pretty much convincingly
Oh, and
badass.
what's his face
You don't
in the,
need Joker. Do that with other Batman
What's his
villains.
face? What's his face in the series? The 66 Batman. Who's the Riddler? He was actually a comedian.
Oh, what's his name? Yeah,
you know,
the actor.
I
yeah.
can't
The
remember his
original
name right now.
Riddler?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is he was in 12 Monkeys, but yeah.
Yeah. God damn it. Fuck.
But I'm
his
just
name's drawing
saying,
a blank.
you don't need Joker right now. You just
No.
you just literally proved it with a character like the Riddler.
Can we get a real hardcore Two-Face?
Well,
Yeah.
Give me a real fucking Two-Face, not
Or-
Tommy Lee
I'm
Jones.
just saying, you've got
Right.
a ton of Batman got villains. Just you can move away from Joker,
Well-
and it's safe.
Well, I think
It's safe.
I think
Yeah.
they're going to go into. I think they're going to go to probably in the Hush area, which you could still bring Joker in, right?
Yeah, but
Right.
he's so
And-
secondary with that. But yeah,
True,
you
but
honestly, the
could
Hush
tie it
area
in
would go
however you
perfect.
want. Yeah.
And my previous statement, I'm not discounting Dark Knight's Two-Face, but we didn't get Two-Face.
You
that
got kind
long.
of a preview, yeah.
We got a preview, which was awesome. The fucking CGI effects they did on his face was fucking brilliant, mixed with the practical effects. But I'm saying, could we get where, like, at the beginning of the movie, that happens, kind of like what they were trying to do with the Schumacher movie, and then moving forward, we get fucking Two-Face. And they led into now the continuation of the Penguin, so I think we can get a hardcore I'm running shit fucking Penguin.
Agreed.
Which would be awesome.
You treat the Penguin like Kingpin in the Marvel
Yes.
universe,
right.
Because that's what he does. That's what he is.
And then as far as Joker goes, you've got Joker where he hasn't fully realized that he's Joker yet. He's just like an inmate with no name. He hasn't fully ascended to Jokerdom yet.
No, he is not the crown prince.
So
Nope.
if you're doing, let's say, a trilogy of these movies, the second movie, you have mentions of stuff happening relating to some clown prince of crime or some kind of reference and stuff, and you see reactions to things that are happening in town, but it's not the main focus of Batman, where he doesn't have time for it. So you're like interweaving where you almost do like a Thanos thing where it's just like a build up to, because Joker is Batman's greatest
he's a mirror.
yeah.
He is.
So you let him develop other characters. You let him develop other villains. You create this opportunity where this big squirt of the moment is having Joker show up, and there's been this whole plot that's been interconnected through all the movies. And then when you watch them all, you realize this plot has been going for years.
And that shows how Joker's been behind the scenes the entire time,
Yep.
weaving his way into being the clown prince.
Yeah.
Like that's brilliant. I like that.
I'm just saying, there's other characters out there like Calendar Man. I mean, I just
Yes,
watched.
Calendar Man.
No,
I just
no,
watched-
no,
Hold on.
no.
I just
Don't
watched-
forget Condiment King.
Hey,
Well, I'm
why
just
don't we
saying,
just
I
have
just watched
Squirrel Girl while we're at it?
Long Halloween,
Aw.
the animated movie part, and he's part of that, and they treat him like fucking like Hannibal Lecter in a way because it's all intertwined. Takes these characters
Isn't
and
he played by
utilize them.
Sean Gunn in Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like in the prison.
Yeah,
just
he's
hanging
in the
out.
prison.
I'm just
yeah.
saying, something like Poison Ivy. You don't have to literally have her
could bring
control
back
plants,
Poison
but
Ivy,
she's
though, yeah.
fucking poisoning people and taking their money. Like,
Yeah.
you could have shit like that and make it in this real world. You don't have to always rely on Joker. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I agree.
obviously they've set it up. Maybe they'll just have it'll lead up to like a Rogues Gallery movie where it's basically several of them trying to take down the Batman. You know, several of them who's just like, all right, we're tired of shit, because they're doing a spin-off with the Penguin.
That's right. It was
HBO
supposed
Max
to be
doing-
Gotham PD, but then
Yes.
there was a difference of opinion between Warner Brothers and Matt Reeves on how to do it. So they're doing Arkham Asylum instead.
Right. And so it'll be a spin-off with
Yeah, so it's going to be a full-on horror.
So
is that
HBO
the
Max
HBO Max? I thought there's supposed to be two
series.
of them. There's supposed to be two of them, right?
Well, I think they
it's supposed
killed
to be a Penguin one.
They
and
killed
then,
Gotham PD, so they're doing the Penguin
Right.
one, and then they're doing
With
a
Colin Farrell?
full horror Arkham Asylum. I
Right.
think with Colin Farrell. Yeah.
The series?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what happens
Yeah.
now. That's literally.
I am into it, especially
love
after
it.
Peacemaker. Holy
But
fuck!
see, that's where I think that maybe Penguin will be more of the linchpin in terms of connecting those characters on
Yeah.
his rise after Falcone's downfall. His rise that's what he wanted.
Which, let's give a cheers to John Turturro.
I was, but
Oh,
dude, I
hell
was
yeah.
about to say the same fucking thing.
Fucking
Can we give-
Jesus, man.
He was. I loved his low key. That's the first time we've got low key Falcone. Like all the other Falcones, like for against Nolan's universe, he was very boisterous, very fucking cocky, very like I run this shit.
old school gangster
Yeah,
style.
where dude, Turturro's was just so subtle and small.
Soft-spoken.
It's like
He's
he just
no, hold
walked out
on.
of-
I'm running the city, but you have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
You have no
Looks
idea.
like he just walked out of the casino after
Yeah.
hanging out with the
Yeah.
De
I loved his
Niro
take
and
on
Pesci's
it.
He looks at
character.
Bruce Wayne, just like, you don't remember me, do you, kid?
Yeah,
Like,
Right.
I love this. I loved his fucking
Your
take on
dad
it.
saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still around because you're fucking dead.
Exactly. It's just so. It was just
And he
I
didn't
loved
even
it.
battle himself. There was a great scene where he almost kills his own blood, and it's like,
nope. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
sorry,
you
I
fuck,
gotta
yeah.
do this. It's like,
You see what you
really
made me
are a
do?
cold motherfucker.
You see what you made me do?
You made me do it.
Narcissistic as fuck.
The worst part is like I mean I love Turturro, and he's been in a million movies, both good and bad, and I mean that's what happens with a character actor.
Yeah.
But
Right.
what I fucking hate is that I'm watching him do brilliantly in The Batman, and all I'm thinking of is his character in the fucking Transformers movie.
yes.
Yeah.
Why?
'Cause
Why?
that has been. That's what
Why?
happens.
Wearing a
sometimes.
Sector 7 shirt,
Let
you
me-
know, the super
You know what
secret
I-
organization
you know what I
that
didn't
has
see?
t-shirts made.
You know what I didn't see?
Yeah.
The thing about was that.
You
But
know,
that happens. With, I mean,
didn't think
fucking,
about that.
But
fucking
you-
Gordon was in goddamn the Hunger Games movies before this
That's
shit.
true.
but
He
you
was
know,
also in fucking Westworld.
yeah,
okay.
sure.
Oh, is he? Because
He
he,
also-
plays the same character
Yeah.
from
He also-
Westworld.
you know
as in
what
this
else?
movie.
He also narrates something that we did an
But
episode on.
he
too.
was also Jean-Michel Basquiat in Basquiat, which is a super fucking underrated movie, but
Oh, if you want to talk about the actor we know now and kind of the roles he's done, go back to the rebooted Shaft, where he plays the Mexican drug lord thug, and remember that is the same actor from these current movies. It's a totally different person.
wow.
You gotta wonder how that conversation went with like Michael Bay was just like, listen, I need you to do this. He's like, you want me to do fucking what? Like, I'll pay you a lot of money. I mean, I don't want to act. He's like, well, just do you. can you just say some of the lines I wrote? Okay.
like,
Vince Vaughn was
went.
asking for too much money, so you're the neurotic person we hired for this role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was a downtime for the Coen brothers. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Do not seek the treasure.
they fucked with Jesus. All right.
They turned him into
All right, we gotta get to our last little bit here before we get before we conclude.
There is one thing, and I know just a quick statement on the film. So we talked about the grit, the tone, the noir, and all that. Like, I think one of the things that really came about from also the youth of Wayne as the Batman and the angst that was clearly there every time he punched somebody was, I felt like I was watching a grunge Batman. Like he had
well, that was the intention.
Oh, was it the Nirvana song playing in the background?
It was Nirvana, but then look at look at where he was as far as his emotional maturity level. He was just rage.
He wasn't emo
angry.
sad. He was angry sad,
which is grunge. Emo sad is now. He was our generation. Like, oh, I'm gonna be sad, but I'm gonna be fucking pissed about it. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like he just the whole movie had that essence of just depressing. We talked about the rain and how they utilized Gotham. They actually made Gotham like an element in its own character. But like there was the whole movie just had this overlying sense of just rage and abandonment.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes, I don't know if I
No, I get that. No.
And, I also want to say, in terms of elements in the movie and coming to life, the bat signal has always been iconic, right? It's the fucking bat signal. But it's always played the role it's supposed to play in every Batman iteration, movie, cartoon. In this movie was fucking genius because it wasn't, and you said it earlier, it wasn't just about being for him to be like, hey, some shit's going down, come here. It was a symbol to fear, but he left it up. It wasn't like we put it up, Batman saved the day, we shut it off. Like
it was a reminder.
It was just on all night, every single night, shut off in the morning, and it was part of the film. It was part of the movie. It was just it was always there. So anytime, I love that scene where he's, doing the voiceover and talking about that, and the criminals look up after fucking breaking the law and they're like, ah, shit. He is out here. Like, he really is out here.
Yeah.
And it was so much more of a character to me than it has ever been before. That's genius.
It is.
That's
I agree.
fucking
100%.
genius.
I do.
To take something that old and iconic and bring it more relevance.
I kind of wish something else came out of the shadows, like in that moment, though. Like, not like a cat, because that's like the thing, like, meow, cat, and like, oh god, oh, it's just a cat.
But like a homeless guy dressed up, like, like oh shit, and it's like, hey man, you got $1.
No, like I think about there was a moment that I was shopping at Aldi, and I was going back to my car, and I turned around and there was a dude that was like ripped to fucking shreds and had bags over his hands, and he was like, I was attacked by a raccoon. And like came at me like with his arms out covered in trash bags yelling about how he got attacked by a raccoon. And he was asking if I could give him a ride. And I screamed and got in my car because it was fucking terrifying. So if there was a moment like that where they're spray painting, they're spray painting the pillars to say like crime or whatever the fuck they wrote on there.
Well, it's broke.
Broke.
It was
They're
broke.
like, broke. They're like, yeah, fucking stick to the band. And they're like, fucking shadows. And it's like, I got attacked by a raccoon. Like just runs out of the shadows.
Also, what's
He's
the level
so
of crime for Batman's attention? Because like those guys spray painting were pretty scared, but like, is Batman going to break bones over you spray painting property?
Also,
like
that was a testament to going to what Catwoman was angry about. Also, where they were spray painting broke, and Gotham is again supposed to be New York, and they even went into that with Nolan's and Dark Knight Rises, where they go in and stop Wall Street and shut down the stock market. They were in front of some sort of financial banking industry, and they were talking about the financial issues with the classes.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
I do appreciate Gotham PD kind of looking the other way for what Batman was doing, as the guy that actually is like, this guy breaks laws, and Gordon's like, well, but he's helping us out. It is curious to explain to all the people that were on that highway as multiple people. I mean, come on, some motherfuckers did not make it out of that. There's explosions left and right, and went, well, but it's Batman. Sorry.
I love that, like, as realistic as they're trying to portray Gotham in this sense, there are like 30 cops in this fucking hallway, and Gordon, who's not even the fucking commissioner at this point, He's like Lieutenant Gordon or something. That he's just like, no, we got to let the fucking dude that dresses as a bat come look at the crime scene. And the dude's like, fucking freak guy?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But that's
And
just
one
one
dude there's
officer.
like, no, like, are you serious? You're going to let him touch the fucking evidence? And Gordon's like, it's fine. He's like, he's wearing, like, he's dressed in a fucking pajama costume. What are you doing?
But
like,
he also.
Could you imagine, like, you're in year 2 in Gotham as a cop, which means that it's like year 25 in any other city. And you're like fucking beaten down, but you're doing your job. You're not like on anybody's payroll. You're trying to do the best. It's a bad town. And then your fucking boss is like, sorry, stop doing your job. We're going to let this guy dressed as a fucking bat.
Or if some guy came in pajamas and just was like, I know what's going on. You're like, but you're wearing pajamas, dude.
I was like, hold on. This dude
He's the
dressed as a
expert.
kangaroo wants to look at the murder weapon. Like, what the fuck?
He's the expert. Like, but I took training and went to school.
Yeah,
like,
Captain Kangaroo's
nope.
like, oh,
I smell a clue.
That looks like a thing you use to push in rugs.
If someone was dressed like Blue's Clues, came in like, I smell a clue.
Actually, in that world,
It's literally a Teletubby rolls in.
This guy knows what he's talking about. Let him through.
In that world, it'd be like Frank. It'd be like Frank from Donnie Darko. Just the guy in a really creepy bunny costume.
That would make more sense if
Yes.
it's just like it's Gotham, so nobody gives a fuck, and there's just like this stoner dude in like a fucking bunny costume, and he's like,
He's got one eye missing.
I mean,
Gets shot.
I solved the Carmen Sandiego video game in one fucking
Oh my
go, so
God.
let me have a try on this one. And the cops are like, nobody gives a fuck anymore. It's Gotham.
It's like
that-
all the cops are there, and then someone comes in dressed like Dora the Explorer, and they're like, "Shh, they know what they're talking
No,
about.
hold on.
They find clues all the time.
Look, Gordon.
She stopped Swiper from swiping
Exactly.
so many times.
Trust me, all right?
Look, Gordon though, as you say that, Gordon though, rightfully, like his boss comes in and fucking rips him a new asshole in front of everybody.
And then
like,
gets killed
are
the
you
next
stupid
scene.
as shit? What the fuck are you doing?
Imagine you get the word that you're the person just below you is like the dude in fucking pajamas, dressed as a fucking like flying rat. Gets a hold of the murder weapon and is like stomping like loud stomping around the fucking
Nice Foley
crime
work.
scene.
Look at
There
that.
you go.
Yeah.
You're not gonna edit
But
that one out.
I got a future on radio.
The one guy attached with a PD that was like, this is fucking crazy. What are you doing? He gets killed like in the next scene. So then like Gordon can be like, see, he objected.
This is what
fucking
happened.
dead. Go with my instincts. Because nobody else, the entire movie, says anything about Batman. They're like, well, the guy that did object was brutally murdered next day. So
right.
They're
all right,
all
well,
afraid of him.
keep the bad guy going.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, there's a great scene where he gets shot in the chest and then he wakes up. I think it's the scene where he gets shot in the chest and he's out. He's passed out and he wakes up in the police station in like
Oh, yeah.
in like this small room with a shitload of cops.
How was the first thing they do not ripping his mask off?
That was the bomb. It
Was
wasn't
it
a
the bomb?
shot.
That
It
was
was the
the bomb,
bomb
yeah.
that went off. The
Bomb.
neck
Sorry,
bomb
yeah.
with dude from
But they
Green
still
Lantern.
carried
That's
him
right.
and said,
Yeah.
don't touch the mask.
That's right.
yet.
It wasn't.
Don't
But he
peek.
wakes up to them saying like, "How are they
No,
gonna take the
they
who is
almost
it?"
did. That's why he fought back. They were talking about it and they went, fuck it, I'm doing
No,
it.
but they
And
still
he got
brought him to a place first. Like it's not a present. You don't have to wait till Christmas to open it. Like,
but he
it's
also
fine.
went out the only door of the police station. All the cops were on one side of the police station. He was able to go through the door that none of the cops were in that part of the police station to
All
run
right.
away.
Now
Well,
the
if you look
scene-
closely, it says secret door.
Yeah,
above the
okay,
door.
cool.
Now the
So,
scene where he used his grappling gun in that was fucking rad.
Yeah.
Well, it was
That
great.
was
That was, and of course, which leads to him using the gliding suit.
The gliding
Yeah.
cape.
Also, his shoes bulletproof on the underside of his shoes as well. That's why his feet didn't get shot with fucking bullets as he's going up.
I guarantee you it is. It's Batman.
Really? We're doing this, Donnie?
What is Batman's great? What is one of his best characteristics?
New Batman Kevlar insole.
Besides being the world's
They'll
greatest
stop
Kevlar is a
detective,
very versatile.
They'll stomp
very
the pain
versatile.
away.
besides being the world's greatest detective, and besides being the fighter that he is, he's
Prepared.
he's prepared for
He's prepared.
everything, and anything he's not, he eventually becomes prepared
Oh,
for.
can we talk about just a quick second the introduction because it clearly hasn't gotten there yet. The introduction of the Batarang,
Yes,
like
Oh,
that
yeah.
subtle introduction of the
I-
Batarang. It was
I
so
said
good.
it wrong earlier,
so
but
good.
the chest knife
Yes,
is what I was
chest
trying to.
knife.
Yeah, the chest knife.
But it was the Batarang. He basically
was-
just a large version of what he wanted.
Yeah,
What he would
and it was
eventually
his
come
chest
to.
piece, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful. Which it really did look like it was made out of like a melted gun,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
would make sense. I think I'd read that early on, like before we knew anything about
So
the movie,
good.
that
So
that's
good.
what it was going to be. It was going to look like he had melted down a gun and turned it into a blade.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. I mean, he hates...
It doesn't make... None of this makes sense. Like,
it's very practical.
He hates guns.
He hates guns. He has no other... Like, I have a friend that makes knives, and he takes scrap metal to make knives. He's poor. That's why he does it that way. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. He doesn't need to melt down a gun to make a boomerang knife.
It's a statement.
It's a statement. Like, anybody that is getting that close to that chest knife to find out that it's made out of a gun is getting killed by it.
And he's like, I'm stabbing you, not shooting you. I want you to think about that.
Stabby stab.
Yeah,
Stab, stab.
I didn't shoot you with this. I slit your throat. There's a difference.
It's different. It's totally fine if I stab you to death.
So different.
If it was a bullet, then I would be monster.
Yeah.
But, because it's a
This
knife.
doesn't count.
I got so intimate that
Does
I
that
brutally
say
stabbed
Smith
the shit out
and
of you.
Wesson across the right? Shut up.
Yeah.
Look, I've seen Goodfellas. There's a thing you can do with a gun, not shooting bullets out of it. That's pretty fucking brutal.
Exactly.
So, that being said,
But I bet that's satisfying.
speaking of brutal, the last thing that we're gonna do here before we exit this this episode is our
Yeah. Take your anxiety megs out, everybody.
yeah. It's
This
some
might
people's
stress you
favorites.
out.
It's some people's least favorites. We're talking about making a drunken scene. Making a drunken scene.
Yes.
Let's see.
show
let's see.
begin.
Golf
Yes.
clap.
That'll be
Yes.
how Colin Farrell does Penguin in the sequel.
No,
Yes,
dear,
yes.
please don't. Please don't.
He's gonna have a
Like have that accent, like fucking kill him.
I want no explanation. He's wearing a top hat and waddles and
Yeah.
has like a cigarette on one of those
but
long
it's not a cigarette.
things.
It's,
They
gonna
give
be, it's a candy cigarette
It's a
or,
candy
or,
cigarette.
or a vape.
And they give him bad news. He's like,
He's got a vape that looks like one of the like cigarette holders, like the old school cigarette holders.
call me the Penguin. I don't know why. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, we got to get out of this episode. All right.
dude, you gave us coffee while we're drunk, man.
That is
so
true.
We got two scenes. We've got from the unseen Arkham prisoner, quote unquote, and the Riddler, and then we've got Edward Nashton, not Nigma, in this.
Which that was a little weird. I
That
will say
was-
that's a little weird.
Well, it's a callback to the comic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
Is that was
Enigma
his name before
and
he was
yeah.
technically Edward Nigma?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Batman.
That's
so
right.
do you have anybody that has
Knowledge.
any strong feelings one way or the other? I don't care. I'll take the
I'll
last
do
one.
Nashton.
Can that be Batman? Because I just want to. Or are you gonna be Batman?
Yeah, you can be Batman.
Okay.
I mean, that's
So
fine.
I'll do the Riddler.
I'm Batman.
Riddler. So I'm unseen Arkham prisoner. So okay,
I'll do narration.
okay. Hunter's got narration. So let's do the Edward Nashton Batman one first to start. So whenever you guys are ready.
You're Edward.
I know. You came.
That's exactly how I say it.
Yeah.
Is that how every dude sounded in the 50s? Like he was like, oh, you came.
You came.
Actually, in the 50s, nobody said that.
No, nobody
Nobody
at
gave
all.
a shit at all.
It was just ejaculated.
Yeah.
I think back then.
No, it's just like you're still here. I think is what they said instead.
You came. I went.
Ah.
Oh. No.
What? Okay, sorry.
Me? Nobody. I'm just an instrument. Here to unmask the truth about the cesspool we call a city.
Unmask.
Yes, let's do this together, okay? You're part of this too.
How am I part of this?
Oh, you'll see.
You morphed into like some cartoon character I'm thinking of. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I love the way he talks.
Paul Lynn doing a Batman villain is pretty much, yeah.
It's almost ASMR Batman in this movie when he talks. It's like he's like, I'm going to take you down, Riddler.
Jesus. Okay, so this is from Unseen Arkham Prisoner, which is me, and then Riddler, which is Lowdown here.
What
Am I
up?
doing the narration?
I was gonna do it.
Hunter's
That's cool.
doing the...
All right, ready?
All right, we're ready.
Inside Arkham, Nashton is distraught that Batman has foiled his plans. Someone in a nearby cell speaks to him.
Isn't that just terrible? Them raining down your parade like that? What is it they say? One day you're on top, the next you're a clown. Well, let me tell you, there are worse things to be.
Who Who are you? Who,
God damn it.
Who? I really want to know.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Riddle me this. The less of them you have, the more one is worth.
Whispers.
A friend.
The obscure criminal begins laughing unsettling, only a bit at first.
Ha ha ha
Then slowly more maniacal.
ha ha
Maniacal, sorry.
ha 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 ha.
And Riddler joins in. I said the Riddler joins in. Their laugh echoing the quiet hallways
Is that what?
of Arkham Asylum.
That's what. Is that what furries sound like when they came?
Yes. Yeah. That's,
I love just cueing Lowdown in. They're both doing it. Not just one of you idiots.
Lowdown looks around like, oh fuck.
At one point, you sounded like. At one point, you sounded like Elmo. It's just like Elmo show.
So this is proof positive that this is the dumbest idea I've ever had to do drunken scene because I was trying to do Kermit.
that was
No,
Sounds nothing
no.
like Kermit.
No. No.
It sounds like Kermit's uncle that got a lobotomy. Like that's
or
Isn't
Mickey
that
Ma-
just
or like a
terrible
Mickey
to
Mouse.
be green?
that's so much better.
I would say more Mickey Mouse. like
Why
early
are
Mickey
there
Mouse.
so many songs about rainbows?
See that? Yeah, that. You did more Mickey.
It's not easy.
He
to
did.
be
Yeah, that's
green.
great.
All right. Well, on that note,
The frog.
you're not tuning in. Hopefully, you're not tuning in for good impressions. That is not the point.
No,
of
that
this
would never
show.
happen.
Fozzie.
Hmm.
That's who it is.
I mean,
You're a big bear.
I'm a big
You're
bear.
cuddly bear.
I'm
You're
a
just
big cuddly bear.
Stay away from the fur. I
In a
thought we were off that.
tracksuit. In a tracksuit.
That's his. Fozzie.
If
that's
Fozzie,
that's your
if
furry
Fozzie
costume.
wore clothes besides a bow tie, he would wear a
Tracksuit Fonzie, is that your
tracksuit.
new GUI name?
Yes.
All right. Tracksuit Fonzie. It's there, dude. It's right in
That's
front of
All
us.
right, let's get
Greatest
the fuck off this episode. Thank
furry
you so much.
costume ever.
Thank you so much for listening to this fucking amazing, bizarre episode of Geeks Under the Influence. It's been so much fun. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe to all the stuff, not just Geeks Under the Influence, but all the other shows on the network. We've got Geekfathers, From the House of Madness, Beautiful Disaster, Smack My Pitch Up, Deeply Upsetting, like fucking everything. All the shows. It's so much fun. And make sure to tell your friends. And thanks so much to the Creep-A-Zoids for their intro and outro for this episode. And we'll find you next time. I'm Mike the Hobbit. Join us for vengeance or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I concur. Yes. You shut the fuck up.
Join us or die. Join us or die. Or I will swallow your soul.
GUIPodcast.com.
I'm here to talk about Batman. Where are your drugs going?